Oh, this is good, Charles. This is really, really, really good. It's a whole new area of defense that I've never heard of.
Enjoying yourself, are you, Fred?
Yep, immensely, immensely. I've got your client with motive, means, and opportunity. And you want me to drop charges because it's the wrong victim? Huh? Does that sound even remotely logical to you?
Logic aside, now, isn't it your job to investigate all the possibilities, you know, uncover the truth?
I have the truth, Charles. You gave it to me. Let me read this to you for your enlightenment. Right. Where did he get the drug? Gamber? I don't know. Right. You were the only one with him. Gamber. All I know is he died in my arms. Right. After you gave him a fatal dose.
All right. I know the damned words.
She stole his sperm. She moved the body. She disposed of the drug. She has means. She has knowledge. And you want me to suppose another person is dead?
That's it. You see, that's it. Should be dead. See, if Fleming was the intended victim, then that eliminates my client's motive, you see.
But Fleming isn't dead. You see, Cates is. Which brings us back to a very pregnant Miss Gamber. A scheming succubus who killed her lover for his seed. Was it out of some kind of desperation to have his child? No. She did it for the money. And she would have gotten away with it if it weren't for Charles Wright, who is sitting right over here at the defense table. Now, you look at the defendant and you see a pregnant woman, and you want to protect her. That is natural. But I respectfully ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to remind yourselves that she got that way by killing her lover. Don't let this treacherous woman get away with murder.
It's name calling. That's all this is. It's schoolboy name calling. Scheming, treacherous succubus. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Regrettably, of course, names can hurt if they're called loudly enough and often enough. What the prosecution has just said is his opening statement. That's not evidence, you know. Philip Cates' death was considered accidental until Daphne, my client, admitted that she stole his sperm. Then the prosecution suddenly yelled, "Yippee, a murder suspect." But, you know, they didn't even bother to conduct a proper investigation. Then, now, if you, beyond any reasonable doubt, find my client guilty, then two things will happen. One, an innocent woman, heavy with child, as the prosecution, to his credit, pointed out, will go to jail. Secondly, a murderer will go free. Now, please don't let this happen. I want you to apply to this case the same standards that you do in your everyday affairs. We here are utterly dependent on your collective common sense. Thank you.
Is Daphne Gamber a competent technician?
If she weren't, she wouldn't be working for Viggen. I don't care who she's sleeping with.
Are you familiar with the heroin analog that killed Dr. Cates?
Yes?
In your opinion, could Daphne Gamber synthesize such a chemical?
Objection, of course, to speculation.
I'd call it the considered opinion of an expert witness. Answer the question, Doctor.
With her laboratory background and her knowledge of chemistry, I'd say so.
Thank you.
Dr. Fleming, how many doctors, pharmacologists, chemists worked at Viggen?
Including myself, about 20.
How many of those 20 are capable of preparing the lethal formula?
Probably all of us.
Yes, thank you.
Of those 20 people, how many were alone with Dr. Cates the night he died?
Objection. Couldn't possibly answer that.
Sustained.
No more questions? We call medical examiner Tony Sanger.
Your Honor, the defense is willing to stipulate that Philip Cates was sterile, did die of a heroin analog overdose, and that Miss Gamber stole his sperm and impregnated herself.
Mr. Keller?
Yes, that is so stipulated.
Well then, thank you very much, Mr. Sanger. We won't be needing you anymore. You're excused.
The people call Mrs. Eileen Cates.
Philip hated kids.
Can you think of any circumstances under which he'd want children?
It would have to be over his dead body. Which I guess it was.
Objection.
Sustained.
He was lying there on top of me, dead and panicked.
Is that when you decided to inseminate yourself?
Well, it wasn't a conscious decision. I mean, suddenly I was just doing it. I remember thinking if I had his child, that a part of him would always be with me.
But then you went after the money.
Yes, to provide for the baby.
Daphne,
Yes?
did you kill Philip Cates?
No.
Swear on the soul of your unborn child.
I swear on the life
Your Honor,
and
please.
soul of my
Mr.
unborn
Wright,
child.
you know better than that.
I'm sorry, Ellen.
The jury will disregard that last exchange.
Like hell they will.
Mrs. Cates testified earlier that her husband didn't want any children. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yes.
So you knew about his vasectomy.
No, I didn't know that.
He was leaving his wife for you. You were starting a new life together. But he never told you that he was sterile?
No.
Doesn't sound like such an idyllic romance to me.
Objection.
Sustained.
Isn't it a fact that you were after his money from the start and that having his child was part of your scheme?
I didn't care about his money.
Well, you sure fought hard for something you didn't care about. Yes, withdrawn. Isn't it a fact that you murdered Dr. Cates by giving him a drug that you knew to be lethal? Then, after killing him, you took a needle, which you had prepared, jabbed it into him, and stole his seed.
Jury didn't believe her.
No, they didn't. Charles, why don't you put Fleming on the stand and you can introduce the tampered spray bottle? Huh?
Not till I can prove who did the tampering.
Well, why don't you go home and get a little rest? You need it.
All right. Good night, Sir Percy. Oh, look at the size of this cat now.
He's getting big.
Isn't he, though? Wait. If Vigen has begun tests on humans, why are there still dead animals coming out of the lab? Now, these are photographs of dead monkeys, rather unpleasant, I'm afraid, recently removed from the Vigen lab for incineration. Did you do autopsies on them?
I did, at your suggestion.
Objection.
Approach.
Your Honor, you can't just go cutting up other people's dead animals.
Well, Vigen discarded them. You can take them home and cook them if you like.
He's a city employee, Charles. He shouldn't be working for the defense anyway.
Freddie, aren't we after the truth here?
I'm going to rule the dead monkeys are admissible. Now proceed.
Yes.
So, what was the result of your examination?
We found a heroin analog in the bloodstreams. The same substance that killed Cates killed the monkeys.
If someone could develop a cheap heroin analog today with no side effects, would it sell?
It would be $1 billion product.
A blockbuster.
Yes, I knew about it.
Dr. Fleming, you admit your company is involved in creating an illegal drug.
Was, Your Honor, but not the company, Dr. Cates. If I may explain.
That would be a good idea.
To the jury, please.
One day I came across a lab notebook. It contained Philip's notes for the heroin analog research.
Still have it.
No, I destroyed it.
Did you mention this to Dr. Cates?
I did more than mention. I ordered him to stop.
Did he?
No, he laughed at me, said I was naive.
But Cates died months ago. The animals are still showing signs of the drug.
The animals are frozen immediately after their death. The drug might remain in them for years.
Sorry, am I being a bit dim here, but the carcasses are collected once a week, are they not? Now, wouldn't that indicate that the the drug had been administered recently.
I have no way of knowing that.
Didn't you, in fact, continue Kate's work on the synthetic after his death?
No.
They tried to kill you, didn't they? When they discovered that you knew what Gates was doing. Except that Gates took the overdose that was meant for you. How did they get you to carry on the work? Did they threaten your life again?
They threatened to shut me down.
Who do you think killed Gates?
I don't know.
Your company ran into some difficulties recently, didn't it?
No more so than the rest of the pharmaceuticals industry.
I don't know. I'd say you were in more trouble than most. Your major money maker is causing birth defects, and your patents are expiring, generics are moving in. No, I'd say your future was far from rosy.
We'll pull through.
Yes, but how? By the way, do you know what this is?
It looks like a nasal spray.
Yeah, we found it in Fleming's office. What does this contain?
Saline solution, a little preservative. I'd have to read the label.
There you are. Oh, what's the matter? It's just a little nasal spray, look. My goodness. That's an awfully strong reaction to a saline solution. Did you expect something else? Did you expect this one? Which you filled with a heroin analog.
Excuse me?
Very easy for the CEO of a drug company to slip a tampered bottle into a box of samples. Your company was foundering. You and Cates were after the billion-dollar blockbuster drug. But when Fleming discovered it, then you tried to kill him, except that you killed Cates by mistake.
It's absurd. You can't prove that.
Well, fortunately, I don't have to, you see. I only have to prove that my client is innocent. Oh, here you are. Little memento mori for you.
What's the matter, Charles? You won. Twice.
No, it's just, it's nothing really. Some complicated, I don't know, it doesn't matter.
Fine.
I'm sorry, Sandy. It's because of my determination always to win. I almost got an innocent woman jailed for murder.
Well, it's a good thing she hired you for her lawyer.
How can I be so completely convinced that she was guilty, and then so equally convinced that she was innocent? It just keeps banging around in my head, that's all.
It's called cognitive dissonance.
What?
No, I get it. Like with the gambling, how can I know that it's wrong and then still want to do it? See?
Excuse me, Charles?
What?
You have a visitor?
Hello.
Well, I wasn't exactly thrilled with the outcome of the murder trial, but you were great.
Thank you.
In fact, I'd like to retain you again.
What?
I need a court order releasing Philip's sperm.
Why?
I want to have his baby.
Cognitive dissonance.